Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a series of firsts for me. I'm trying out a new camera because I've got a new phone. So this is what this is about, trying to get this all sorted. It's also my first reply to a request from a subscriber. And the subscriber was DCS Max, and he wanted to see me use the HA Interactive paint markers that I got. So in response, I don't know if you can see, I also got the real colour markers as well. Can't actually fit these on screen, but these are the military colours. More military. So I've got the play markers, which are the fantasy sort of set, and then no, I'm not going to be able to get it in, but the real colour markers, which is the more military colours, World War II, so on and so forth. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, when you first start painting and you're practicing, don't paint your £2,000 Thunderhawk gunship from Forge World. Get you in a box of plastic army men like these here and practice on these. I mean, these cost me £6 for about 30 of them. Really cheap plastic. Your green army men from you know, Toy Story. Get them from thrift shops, I guess, if you're in the States. So DCS Max has asked me to show a bit more of how the paint pens work. So first of all, obviously your green army man. And what I've done is I've primed another one black. So we're going to use that. The pens themselves, as you can see. Now what you need to do, give them a good shake. Now I have used this already, but when you first come to use them, this will be white. And you press that end and the paint will gradually run down into the brush tip there, as you can see. I've got some paper towel because sometimes it runs in a bit quick. So I'm going to try now and show you if I can get it on camera properly. So again, this is something you're going to have to learn yourself, guys, but it's brush control. Just take your time and use it as if it's a normal paintbrush, because basically that's what it is. Just you don't have to use your paints. So again, I like going over the flesh areas we start with. When you're painting as well, what I tend to do is use a method called inside out. Now that sounds a bit weird, but what it means is you start on the lowest level and work your way up. So you start with the flesh, which is the lowest level on the model. Then you go up to a shirt, and then a surcoat, and then whatever things are on top. So painting inside out on the 3D model, start on the skin and work outwards. Again, any mistakes you can correct later with the shades and things. May need a couple of coats to cover everything thoroughly. But again, it's just taking your time, guys. Go easy, don't rush things. Rome wasn't built in a day. it took them at least a couple of weeks. An old joke I always used to say. So once you've got all your flesh painted, give that a couple of minutes to dry. And then, as I say, you'll probably need a second coat. So we'll go over it again. Making sure we cover the areas nicely. So, there we go. I say the detail on these isn't very good. But like I say, you're just practicing to start off. Right, so that's the flesh with its first coat. Now what I've done here is I've got myself my Flames of War US paint set. And I'm trying to copy the colours that they suggest on the back here. And I'm going to do a whole series of videos eventually on my Flames of War stuff, but that'll be in the future. So this is the paint set, but on the back it shows you what paints to use where. So I'm using this as a rough guide. So the next thing we want is to paint the helmet, which is brown violet, which we don't actually have, but I believe olive drab is the set, set from AK that's the nearest. So, take our model again, and we start painting on the colour of the helmet. This actually is a slightly darker colour. Again, take your time, paint on the colour of the helmet. Again, where I've gone over the flesh onto the helmet, you can cover it quite easy, so long as the flesh is dry. The next paint over the top. Let's say these are opaque colours. I do know that Army Painter have brought out a set of speed paint pens, which is like your Citadel contrast but in the paint pen. So I may pick up those in the near future, and if I do, I'll do another quick video on how those work. But I'm assuming it's the same as contrast. You go over your slap chop, which is your black base, white highlight, and then just go over. So there we go, there's the helmet. Can wait for that to dry. Plop that on there. Next we'll go to his khaki coat, which I'm going to use German Dunkelgelb because it's the closest I've got. Again, it does tell you on the pens there, Dunkelgelb, and you can see the German symbol on there. It's supposed to be for the German tanks and things, but it can double up. So what we've got here, actually that is very close to the actual colour you need to use. So the coverage is just as good as paints used from a pot and a brush. Some colours you may need to do twice, do 2 coats, some you don't. Like I say, the helmet itself didn't need 2 coats. That's covered nicely. So we cover all, again, working inside out. Be a bit careful once you get close to the skin that you've already painted. cover the jacket. All over. Oh, I'm way off camera here. As I say, I'm trying to paint around the phone camera. It's not easy, but you'll get the idea as we go. Making sure we cover all of the shirt. I'm coming up on nearly a year now on YouTube, so I will be putting out a video in October of my 1 year anniversary. And what I need off you guys is what you would like to see on the channel. So I need you to comment. I know I keep saying like, comment, subscribe. I'm getting plenty of views, but not many subscribers at the minute. So again, if you're watching the videos, please do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And the old analytics comes into play. As I'm sure all those of you that watch, you're getting fed up of your YouTubers saying, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff. But it does help us YouTubers out if you do those things. And like I say, it's free. Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel out immensely. I'm up to 59 subscribers now, which after 11 months I'm pretty pleased with. I didn't expect to get 10,000 subscribers within a week. That's not how these things work. And as you're aware, there are a hell of a lot of hobby YouTubers out there who, quite frankly, do a lot better than I am at the minute. But again, I'm pretty new to this. I don't have posh setups and lighting and sound. I'm just going off rough and ready at the minute. Once I say I get enough and I can start earning a bob or two off this, I'm going to put all that money back into the channel, get better lighting, better cameras, learn how to do editing and all that sort of business. Again, may need a couple of coats in certain areas. But as you can see, it's just as good as normal opaque paints. Take your time and make sure everything's well covered. So there's his shirt. Is he going to stand up? No, he isn't, but that's not a problem. Right, so next we move on to the pants, which are a slightly darker colour. And for that, I've chosen Buff, which again is the AK Interactive pen. And go over the area of the trousers. Making sure we all cover properly. In fact, some of that undercoat is actually coming off. But that's okay. Again, because it covers quite well, I mean, you can even, I did a bit of an experiment without the painting without an undercoat, which you shouldn't do really. I wouldn't advise it, particularly when you move on to your proper models, but it can be done. Make sure though, if you do that, you do varnish properly at the end to stop your paint rubbing off. So, trying to get it on camera again for you. It's quite difficult because the camera is just behind my hands, which you can see on the screen, and it's not conducive to getting into all the nooks and crannies. But do as best we can, just so you can get an idea. And like I say, these paint pens, I mean, I was dubious at first because I've tried paint pens in the past and they've never worked properly. But these, obviously from AK, are the same paints that you get into a pot. And as we can see there, he's not looking too bad already, and we've only been going 16 minutes. So there's his pants more or less done. I'll just give a quick redo there. That's looking okay. On to his boots next. Red leather, which if you use Vallejo, it's cavalry brown. But what I've got here is a red brown. There we go. Red brown. I've noticed all these real colours. Actually, you don't need to shake or press anything. It's only the fantasy colours that we do that on. So, we'll paint his boots this colour. These shouldn't take long. Again, just be careful, making sure you don't go over any of the previous colour. Make sure you cover all the black. Again, I'm struggling to keep it in camera because I am cack-handed, which means left-handed. I'm very sinister. That's what sinister actually means in Greek. It just means left-handed. There you go. Bit of history for you as well. Those of you that aren't actually interested, but maybe you are, I've just put up a load of videos on the channel from the summer vacation I've just had, where we visited a lot of the castles in southern Wales. So I do have a lot of I think there's about 18, 19 videos went up this month, all on the different castles of the sort of Gower Peninsula area of Wales, which is where we went on our summer vacation. So there is boots done now. Again, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there we go. Next we'll paint his rifle, which is a darker brown, which I'm going to use, where is it? There we go. It's just brown, it says. I'm going to use that for his rifle. Be very careful here not to we'll try not to go over the flesh tone that we've already done, or his jacket. If you heard the meow, that was Sam. She's in with me today. She's whinging about something. I don't know why. She's had a breakfast. They usually would be out, but it's raining this morning, so the two cats are actually in at the moment. So that's his rifle. We now need a darker brown, which I haven't gone out, to do his webbing and his belts. Let me see if I can get one. No, there you go. You can see better there how he's starting to look. So if I look in the box of paint pens, some quite dark brown we want really. Let's see if there's one in the play markers set we can use. There we go, this one will do. So again, this is the play markers. It's actually black skin. Again, I haven't used this one yet, as you can see, because the nib on this is white. So we take the back end off, like so. See if I can catch it on camera for you. But if you push, there we go. Just give it a quick push. And the paint comes down. You can wipe the excess off on a towel. And we'll do his webbing. And his belts and such. Again, these may need 2 coats. See if I can get this on camera again for you. This camera as well, it's a lot more zoomed in than my GoPro. So this is probably the camera I'm going to use when I do more painting tutorial videos, which I will do at some point. I just need to get somehow of setting it up properly. But these things take time. Not in any rush. And if we look on his back, we have a crossover here. Like I say, if you're careful, you don't really need tiny brushes. So that's that. And that's all the base colours done. Oh no, it isn't, I'm lying. I've got to do the metallics. So what I'll do, I'll get the metallics out. I'm going to use the Real Colours Military Set Aluminium for this. And we'll just go across the top of his rifle like so, of where the barrel would be. Don't know if you can see that, guys, but that brown webbing's gonna need a second coat. So we'll wait for that to dry and give him another coat. And that basically, I mean, that's taken me 25 minutes. And that's all the base coats more or less done. And we've gone from the green army man to more or less finished. So it doesn't take long. And like I say, if you're just starting out, don't expect to get yourselves to army to crystal brush or golden demon standard. I mean, I've been painting now for 40 odd years, and I know I'm never going to win a crystal brush or a golden demon. And I accepted that actually about 30 years ago. I mean, if I really did put the time in, maybe I could, but I'm a gamer more than a competition painter. So I like to get my models painted quickly, easily, get them on the tabletop and start cracking skulls. That's how I tend to look at things anyway. Right, we'll give the belts another go. Hopefully they should be dry enough. And what I'll do now is, after I've done this, we'll give him a shade and call him done. But if you want to, you can always, once you put a shade on, you can always go back over the original colours and do final highlights, just using the same base colour after the shade, because the shade will darken everything down. And then go back over once the shade's dry with the original colours, just to bring the lightness back up into the areas which would naturally catch the light, the folds on his cloth, etc, etc. Try and get that. And the shade actually will cover a multitude of sins. So there we go, guys. I don't know what you think about that, but he is more. Let me move my lamp a bit. See if I can get him in. There we go. He's looking a lot better. And again, less than half an hour. And he's more or less finished. We'll give him a couple of minutes to dry, and then we'll put a shade on. I'm going to explain the shade for you, because I pinched this off Sonic Sledgehammer. New Zealand fella who I believe lives in Germany now. But what he's done, he's come up with what he calls marine juice, which he stole off the guys from Army Forge World. And what it is, it's just a couple of shades mixed with, so what we have here is Army Painter Dark Tone, Reikland Flesh Shade from Citadel, and a Pottle Army in medium. And all you do, you mix those three together, empty them into empty dropper bottles, and you get your shade. And it pretty much shades any colour, because it's a dark, warm brown colour. Brown shades nearly everything, except for black, obviously. So I pinched these off Sonic Sledgehammer. I'm sure he won't mind, because he pinched them off Forge World, the idea. And it makes a shade. Now these are thinner than paints, what they call washes. We'll mix those three together and you can use it on any models, historicals, fantasy, any sci-fi, any period of history, and it's more or less good. So what we'll do now is we'll put a quick shade over the top. Again, this won't take very long at all, but again, you have to use a brush for this. Da, 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 da. So what we do, we take our shade, put it in your palette, there we go. As you can see, it's very watery. Place it in there. Give it a good mix around. Then all we do, take our miniature and just go over the top. There, I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually shading everything quite nicely. Again, just slap it on. All over the miniature. All over the skin, the gun, everywhere. And it just shades everything down nicely. If it pulls too much in certain areas, you can always take some off. Give your brush a wipe on your paper towel just to move it around a bit. See if I can get him to stand up on there. Oops, I pressed the wrong button there. Let's get there we go. As you can see, 33 minutes, and there we go. In a better way. There we go. Doesn't take long at all. As I say, it ain't great, but from 3 feet away on the tabletop, when you're rolling dice and shooting people, it looks half decent. Again, you can take your time after the shades dry just to go over the top with your original colours again, just to bring it back up. But I'm quite pleased with that. Using the paint pen instead of out of a pot. There we go. That's a better shot of him there. So there we go, guys. That's your paint markers from AK Interactive. And like I say, if you do fancy using the new contrast markers, Army Painter brought a set out of those as well. They work just like, well, speed paints, as the Army Painter calls them, contrast paints, but again in pen form. So there we go, guys. Let's see what I will do. Take a bit of that off because it's a bit. There we go. So there we are, guys. Once again, thanks to DCS Max for the request, and I hope that's gone all well for you. I say that's my first real painting tutorial I've done on the channel, because like I say, it's a bit awkward trying to get the setup right, the cameras and the lighting and such. Just drop him down a bit so you can see him a bit better there. That shade will dry matte, not as shiny because it's still wet. So thanks for watching again, guys. Thanks to DCS Max. Like, comment, subscribe. And as I say, with this camera it does zoom in a lot better, so I'm quite happy with the results. So thank you guys once again, and please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for now.